What if Deku was Dr. Eggman Ellie's past? As Ellie is walking down the street, as she looks all nervous and all that, and down, failed another interview. What am I gonna tell Tide? That is the third one this week. As we see Ellie is walking by a store, heading to a seat. That was the third one this week. What am I gonna do? As it happened to have been a workshop that she had applied. As she takes a seat, why does everything have to go wrong now? I've worked so hard. I've got my degree in, well, robotics. I know I don't know much, and I have a mutation type quirk, but still, why do things have to go wrong now? As then, someone with fins and kind of like wings, flippers, come forth, and a tail similar to Ellie. Hello, Ellie, as the man takes a seat in front of her. Tide, it's good to see you again. Of course, after all, you've been staying at my place for a while. You've been struggling, by the looks of it. Again, thank you. Yes, you've been living with me for quite a while. And this is going to be bad news to tell you. As Ellie looks at Tide, I'm leaving for America in about 2 days. What? But I still have a job. I know, but I must go. Me and the other performers are heading to America for a big show. And if things go right, we're probably not coming back to Japan for another few years. But no buts, Ellie. I've been helping you out on the request of my father, who sadly passed away this past year. He wanted me to help you get off the ground, as he had been taking care of you ever since your parents passed away. I still feel sorry, but I can't exactly bring you with me to help you in your life struggles. But I will leave you the apartment I am leaving. You'll have to pay rent next month. I already paid a month in advance. So you have a month in the apartment before you have to pay rent. That should give you enough time to find a job. As Ellie just starts to rub her shoulder. Now listen, I know it's been rough, but you have a degree in robotics. That should at least get you a job in an engineering platform. There are a few businesses that need a mechanic. You know enough about robotics, you could probably even become an engineer. Although I know your things rely on design and all that. But still, think about engineer work. Your robotic work, working on machines, in your designs, can be useful. But no one's looking for that now. Your best option for a job is mechanic work. That's about the only thing your robotic degree is going to get you around here. In fact, only one person's ever managed to impress high-end individuals, and his name was Robotnik. He's currently at Island, if I remember. That happened years ago, though. No one's looking for robotics. He barely got accepted because he broke through in a major design. The likelihood that you're taken seriously, or that anyone will buy your stuff, is very low around here. The robotic arms and limbs are about the only thing that got him off the ground. So, as a friend, I'm telling you, Ellie, look for mechanic work. No one's going to accept a job offer with you signing in for robotics. They're just not looking for it. Not even the support course is looking for that stuff. And I know you got your degree and all that, and that from a very special school. But No one's looking for that. But why are you leaving so suddenly? I thought you would have more time to stay. The performing business is doing well right now. And, well, I was given a call and I took the offer. I'm making some big money over in America. Hence the reason I'm leaving. I can't really help you anymore as I already have. I helped you get your degree. I helped pay for your tuition. Well, at least for this past year. My father did that to help you off the ground. I helped you get a place to stay. I can't keep doing that. I have stuff I need to do, Ellie. I have my own work as well. I can't always look after you. I'm saying this as a friend. I know that we've only known each other for a few years. Ever since my father took you in. But I can't help you with all this. These decisions are your decisions. This pathway you're choosing, I can't help you at all with this. No one finds this interesting. I took my opportunity and opinion, my dream to become a performer, because it's more realistic. Robotics? No one in the world is really interested in robotics, Ellie. With the exception of a few people that may be on Island. Or even around the world in small or big businesses that are just barely holding together. There is only a handful of people. So try to look into engineer work. Okay? I'm saying this, again, as a friend. Alright, as Ellie just simply puts her hand on the table before standing up. As Tide gets up, as he looks at the time, well, I gotta go. I gotta perform in about 2 hours. As he walks away, raising his hand, again, Ellie. Maybe think of some other job paths as well. As he simply walks away. As Ellie just simply looks around before sighing. Even you don't believe in my ideas, do you? As then she pulls out a paper from her bag. Listing ideas to help, well, medical equipment and people. With like a robotic helper. But it seems like no one thinks that these ideas are good. Everyone thinks that like the quarks are superior. They don't need machines for this. As she sighs, I'm just trying to help. Yet no one seems to want my help. Maybe Tide's right. Maybe I need to look into different sources of work. As she goes to cross the street, as it's about late, as suddenly a van pulls up and just stops, as Ellie looks at it, as the car door of the van opens, as a tranquilizer hits her in the arm, as she falls over, as someone grabs her and puts her in the back of the van. As the van just drives off. As we go a few hours later, as she starts to come around, looks like you're coming around. As she immediately gets up and looks around, where am I? As she sees a deer person. Easy, easy, the name's Buck. Nice to meet you. As she knows they're in a factory, where are we? Well, it looks like you were also kidnapped as well. Kidnapped? As then she tries to look for her belongings, which are gone. Don't try looking for them. They got destroyed, most likely, or lost when you got taken. Where are we? In some old factory or warehouse. I can't be sure. Although, We're probably close to the sea, as I hear waves and all that. That or some river. As she looks around, seeing a few people. Were y'all kidnapped too? As they nod their heads. Why was I don't know. My guess is they were probably looking for easy pickings, easy targets. People that aren't expecting it or people that won't be missed. What do you mean? For instance, I haven't heard a single vehicle outside or even approach this warehouse. How? I thought you're just a reindeer. I am a deer, a buck, but my hearing is really good. I can hear from at least a few miles around the building. Footsteps, all that. Nothing gets past these ears. For a deer, mutation type quirk, my hearing was phenomenal even from a young age. Man, it made classes really difficult to learn. All those kids and all those students, classmates always being loud. Why are you saying this? What, just trying to lighten the mood? Shouldn't we look for a way out? Tried that hours ago, when I woke up. The only way out is through that door, or through a wall. And these things are made of literal steel. The only way we're breaking through this is if someone has a strength enhancement, or even a metal quark or something. But no one has the strength or the right quark to get us out of here. Honestly, I'd love for someone in here to have like a lockpick quark. That way we could just lockpick ourselves out of the room. But why were you and I brought here? Again? I think we were just easy pickings to them. Can't be sure though. Although each of us have unique, and looks like most of us have mutation type quirks by the looks of it. Odd choice for abducting people. But still, it's not too rare. It seems you know about a lot of this. Well, I did do a lot of research back when I was a student. I wanted to become a detective. Made it, though. So you're a detective? Was. As Buck seems to be at least in his 30s to 40s. Unfortunately, there was a bit of an incident. They kicked me out for just a small calculation. Although, it was really close. I chased down the guy even after I was kicked off the force. And after I caught him, they threatened to arrest me if I ever tried it again. Tried to do any type of police or even hero work for that matter. I was just part of law enforcement. Yeesh. Shows you how much they want heroes to do the job to get the credit. So you were part of law enforcement? Was. Although, if I bring out another villain, they're gonna lock me up. How funny is it that you try to do some good by catching a guy that literally caused an explosion that took 3 lives, and they threaten your own self to be thrown in a cell with him. Just for bringing him in. Just because you got kicked off the force. Saying illegal use of quark, when truth be told I just tackled him. Knocked him out. It's not my fault I have a mutation type quark. But they don't see it like that, I suppose. Just shows you how much corruption got around. Corrupt? Yep. These days, 9 out of 10, most heroes are actually corrupt. I gotta say, with the exception of probably a few of the top 10, maybe a handful in the top 20 to 50. Other than that, the most new heroes are the worst. But every now and then there's a dime in a bunch where an actual person that's doing it for the right reasons. But nope, most of them are just in it for the money. One of the reasons I also got threatened is because I was doing research on a hero that was doing illegal stuff. Man, do they not like that protocol. I guess they thought I was going to try to blackmail the hero to do something or what. Truth be told, I planned to bring him in. But they didn't like it. They told me to scrap and burn everything. What'd you do? Well, I obviously did it because they threatened my job. Honestly, they got no respect. They don't even. It's not even like the police force is even trying to contain the evil actions of the heroes anymore. When I started, there was a lot less. Especially if we had some of that equipment Dr. Robotnik was selling a few years ago. We might have actually caught a lot of villains by now. Dr. Robotnik? Yeah. A few years ago, we sold plenty of stuff. Run by a company, I can't remember what was it called. I think it was called the Robotic Industry. They sell a lot of equipment. The police force and Hero Safety Commission refused to buy any of it. Although hospitals and other places bought quite a bit of it. When I heard that it sold, well, police equipment and other stuff, I thought I would try to check it out. But due to a stupid role of the Hero Safety Commission president implementing a rule that we're not allowed to buy from that company, all of the good equipment that was being made there was being sent off to America. How stupid can our president be? Missing up on an opportunity to capture these villains before they can really commit major villainous crimes. What type of equipment was it? Well, for one, they could decrypt hidden messages being sent by calls, intercept high crypted messages, and decode it within an hour. That would really help catching some villains that are communicating through the dark web. But unfortunately, no good. I really thought and tried to convince the president when I saw her that one time that we should consider it. She just brushed it off, saying we don't trust the robotic industry. Their equipment is faulty at best. Well, what is their equipment based on your... I've never really been there, but I hear good things about their equipment. Well, I did buy one thing from the robotic industry that didn't interfere with the rule. And still to this day, that thing has not broken. It's been around for about 10 years now. 10 years? Uh-huh. And it was a good old-fashioned monitor, where I kept all files. And this thing was not just your typical monitor. It stored way a lot more data than what you would simply buy anywhere else. It had 3 encryption locks, meaning no one's getting in. So any information I wanted to keep secret, I used on that monitor. Too bad I won't be able to see that thing again. At least till we get out of here. As then suddenly footsteps are heard. Looks like we got company. Everyone move away from the door. As suddenly, a person with, like, a hand on his face and hands all over come walking in. With, like, 2 or 3 Nomu behind him. Looky what we have here. A lot more new test subjects. As the captives simply look at Shigaraki and the Nomus. So you're the person that kidnapped us. Maybe. As he starts to observe, a lot more mutation-type quarks. Yeah, no one's gonna miss them. Well, we can't really need any of you alive for the procedure. But just to make sure, Fred, as a purple figure, would approach and come right in front of the Nomu. This is Fred. He'll be in charge of making sure you're sent to the doctor one by one. You have about an hour before you start being taken. Don't you dare resist. As Shigaraki would leave the room, as Buck would be right next to Ellie. What do we do? I don't know, but by the looks of it, there's at least 3 or 4 of them. Now that Shigaraki guy's gone. As Shigaraki had said his name, I think the best bet is we try to take them out. We have the numbers at least. As there's about 10 to 20 people that were kidnapped. If we try to sneak them, we might be able to get out of here. Or at least we can try to get one of us out of here. At most. Try to get out and warn the others. Tell the heroes or something. As Buck simply looks into his pocket as he goes to talk to the rest of them, as Ellie's just looking at the interesting, purple figure floating in the room. Simply looking at each one of them. Why were these things called Nomu? Why were they here? As the Fred Nomu is simply looking and just observing the room. As then Buck comes over back to talk to Ellie. Ellie. Yeah? Listen. First chance, I want you to try to get to the door. Try opening it. It might be locked. If not, we'll try to have one of the Nomu attack the door. At most, I want you to at least try to escape. Alright? Should be a simple task. As all of the captives started to get together, as the hour has just come up. Alright. As Fred reaches to go grab Ellie to be the first one being taken away, as suddenly a fridge would appear above Fred. As Fred would look up, as it suddenly squishes Fred. As we go to Dr. Eggman's base, as Cuba is putting some objects into a disposal unit. That fridge was certainly heavy to move. Cuba, what are you doing in my office? You better not be dumping the garbage into the portal displacement center. Why? That thing is used to send spears that send back data for wherever they land. It's completely random. You better not have sent anything down there, because they appear at random places. They could be in another dimension. They could be on the moon. They could be in the center of the earth. They could be in Orlando. They literally could end up anywhere. It's still in its testing phase. If possible, if I make a breakthrough, it could even be possible of teleportation. Unfortunately, no luck. The best thing it could be used for is powering up my control center. And you, for messing with that, you have to search the entire facility, out and in, tomorrow. Do I make myself clear, Q-Bot? As Eggman Deku is currently outside the room, basically scolding him from the other room. Yes, sir. As Q-Bot would leave, as we go back to Ellie, Buck, and the rest, as they saw this as the opportunity to attack, so as basically the civilians and Buck start charging to fight the Nomu. The Nomus, at least. As they're basically hitting the Nomu, trying to catch them off guard as these things regenerate and just whack a few people to a wall. As Ellie tries to make it to the door, as then suddenly a purple cloud appears behind, as apparently the fridge just sent a person just flying into a wall, as Fred the Nomu seems to be angry, as he sends a huge blast towards Ellie, who barely manages to dodge. But this spear destroys the door and causes the metal of the door to collapse in on itself, basically blocking them into the room. As Fred focuses his attention towards Ellie, as he approaches, as Buck had grabbed a metal pipe and just tried to hit Fred in the back. But as a dark orb appeared behind Fred, which absorbed and kind of caused it to basically make a black hole, which absorbed the metal pipe. As then Fred punches Buck, sending him flying into a Nomu, which does a full-on backflip. Fred has probably a few broken ribs, and is currently laying on top of a Nomu who just had its head impaled by a piece of metal. As Ellie looks around, as plenty of people have already been, well, killed by the Nomu, and Fred is currently fighting. As Fred sends another black orb, which completely devours someone like a black hole would. As someone tries to hit Fred from the back, as he simply grabbed them before basically send him flying towards the Nomu, causing it to explode in flames, burning the Nomu and the person alive, causing fire to spread through the room. As Ellie's holding her mouth, as she's looking at the chaos, I need to get out of here. As Ellie's trying to find another way out, she's looking around the room frantically. As then Fred throws an orb towards Ellie. As Buck seemingly jumped in front of Ellie, as it explodes. As the explosion takes off Ellie's arm and 2 legs, as she is sent flying out of the sea. As Buck had basically taken the brunt of the explosion, ended up dying, just protecting Ellie's head and body. As Ellie fell into the sea. As Fred just looks out before going back in to finish the rest of the survivors. About a day or 2 later, currently washed up on a beach as Cubot is currently surveying. Ah, great, I had to throw that blue refrigerator into the disposal unit. You should have really named it something else instead of disposal unit. I thought it was another dump that I could just dump trash into. Oh well. At least it's not so bad. I get to look around the beach, around the facility. As he seemingly walks, as then he comes across Ellie. This isn't good. I really need to report this. As he goes to report to Eggman, as Ellie's eyes open, as all she sees is Cubot before falling back unconscious due to blood loss. And that is the end of Ellie's backstory. Make sure to like and subscribe for more.